Hey folks, Little John. When we playing around in the brewery, you'll notice on the video a little bit of a different, playing around with the format a little bit today, just for something a little bit different, just for a change up the hell of it. Anyway, so I'm underway, got the mash on for today's brew, which is just going to be a well, just a basic pale ale, and I'm gonna split it two ways. Yeah, as I normally do. And that's just all at the start. There's two yeasts. The starter's up and going. So I'm going to split this batch with BRY 97. So just a basic standard American pale ale. And the other half I'm going to run with the Kviek yeast. Kviek, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, I'm not Norwegian. I've had it sitting here for about bloody 12 months and just really haven't got around to using it. And it's all over the bloody internet now. When I first got it, it was fairly new, there was hardly any of it about. Now it's all over the shop, there's plenty of people using it. So I've finally got around to using it. Part of the reasoning behind that is because I've got the Jens Voss strain. One of my brewmates, Nathan's got the, I'm not sure which one it is. It's a different. He's got a different strain which he's got hold of, and he's going to brew with. So we're going to be able to compare the two. And down the track, I'm hoping that I can do a side by side with the pair of them. I'd really like to have a crack at a really more traditional sort of Norwegian version, but I don't really think that's ever going to happen. But so as a basic pale ale, so it's at the front there, Golden Promise, some wheat, bit of Carahel and some Cara Munich, so it's going to have a little bit of malt depth without having a lot. I'm running a sort of fairly simple hop schedule initially through the boil. I'm going to run with 15 grams of Simcoe at 30 minutes, 25 grams Citra at 5 minutes, and then I'm going to drop 30 grams of Galaxy at 1 minute into the boil. Now, what I'm going to do though, because obviously I want this Kviek yeast, I want to see what it's doing. They're saying they throw a lot of citrusy and spicy type flavours, so I don't want to hide that behind a whack of fruity hops. So what I will do is when I throw in the Citra addition with the 5 minutes, and I'm going to let it go for about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to pull 8 litres off the Robo Brew and put that into the fermenter, and that's going to be the Kviek yeast, and I'm going to sit that in the fridge and let it cool overnight and then get the yeast on it in the morning. I'll let the boil continue and I'll throw in the remainder of the Galaxy, and this has just got me thinking I'm going to need to recalculate these figures because I'm based that bitterness on 24 litres, so I'm going to do a little bit of recalculating there. So there'll still be 25 Citra up front, but there won't be 30 grams of Galaxy. That will probably drop back to somewhere around 18. But anyway, I'll look at that when we get there. So the BRY 97 will sit in the fridge at 19 degrees. The Kviek is just going to sit here on the bench. Now, the garage has been sitting fairly steadily in the mid to high 20s. I do have a run of, looks like a run of sort of low mid 30s for the next sort of week, which will help to keep it up in that sort of high 20s range. As I said, right now it's sitting on, it's 25 degrees in here at the moment, and it's been a reasonably cool sort of a morning. It's only like bloody 9 o'clock, so I think the temperature will pick up a little bit here over the few days, which will work for it nicely. So So that's the plan. Like I said, mash is on. As for the pale ale, it's just a simple, it's in there, mashed in at 64, 10-minute rest, put the pump on, run that for 45 minutes, then I will jump it up to 75. I will only use the 500 watt element while I'm doing that, so I'll keep the pump running and just let it come up, so it'll come up reasonably slowly. Then I'll hold it there for about 10 minutes once it's there, and then I'm going to sparge, and again today I'm just going to sparge with tap water. I'm not going to muck around heating it up. It seems to be working alright, so that's how it's going to be. It's a little bit of mineral additions early on, not a lot, just a bit of this, bit of that. I'll put in the blurb down the bottom exactly. Well, I don't know exactly because I didn't actually measure. I just threw bloody bits in, but what they were. And that's it. So 22 litre batch. 22 litres in the Robo Brew at the moment, and I will sparge with about 14.5 litres. So we'll come back later and see what we're looking at. Have to pull the pipe for the mash is over. Get the sparge happening. Helps you get him all the way up. So I'm just sparging with cold water. Just push the top pipe down a little, just to get it on the bed. So we'll get that through there. I'm going to run this right through now until it gets up. Should bring me to about, well, one I've got here should give it about 32 litres. I'll probably stop around 30ish, so I've got a bit of room for the hot break when she comes to a boil, and I'll top up as we go through the boil. Around the sparge, you see enough water there that it's holding up on the top of the screen there, and that'll filter through nice and slow. Get a nice run down into there. We can't really see what's going on. And we're coming up to new volume. Righto. Jumped a bit ahead. I got harangued by the wife into having lunch and nada and whatnot. Just as I was getting up to getting the hops in, given that she allowed me to go unsupervised to a beer festival yesterday. That's the least I could do. So we'll do a bit of a wrap up on what happened. A little bit of a freshen into me while we do that. It's a bit warm out here again. So, as I end up with closer to 24 litres instead of the 22 I was after, so I've got about 9.5 in the little fermenter, which will go on, which will have the Kviek yeast of the George's Voss go onto it, and then there's about 14.5 litres in the bigger fermenter of the actual pale ale itself. Now, I've ended up with a gravity of 1040. I was after 1043, so with the extra 2 litres, I think we're probably around the right mark. I didn't allow for the reduction in the boil off into 40 minutes, so I'm not too fussed about that. But we're in the ballpark, so I'm pretty close enough. So I've got the pale ale in the fridge. Now I ran it through the core cooler with the ice bucket. I dropped 10 grams of citra and 10 grams of calcium just into the bottom of the fermenter and just, and poured onto that. Just for something different. It's not something I've ever done before. I've done hops early, like in a sort of day one with yeast, and I've done New England IPAs, so that's certainly not the levels of a New England, but I do want to push the dry hops on this one a little bit, a bit more than possibly what I normally would. There's no post-boil hops, there's no whirlpool, no hop stand, so I'm going to go more for in the fermenter. So I will do a standard dry hop around day 4 or 5, which would be a little bit larger, probably somewhere around 25 grams of 2 or 3 different hops. I'm not sure at the moment whether I'm going to go with mosaic. I'm not sure I've got enough mosaic to actually do a dry hop on hand. I'll have a look what I've got in before I make that decision, and that'll have to wait till tasting day to see exactly what that dry hop ends up being. Yeah, it keeps everybody interested, doesn't it? Like, yeah, you have got to come back to watch it later. It's like part 2 of a movie, isn't it? Anyway, now the Kviek come off. Citra had been in for about 2 minutes, and I dragged off that 9.5 litres. So it had maybe, it had 3 or 4 minutes of contact before it went down, and it's not cooled at all. It's come off completely hot, and it's just sitting and cooling. So there's 15 IBU in the Simcoe edition, and about probably 4 or 5 in the Citra edition. So it's about 20 IBU with the extra time. When it is mostly off the hops, so it's probably going to push up to around that 27, 28 IBU. So it's not going to be heavily hop influenced, but enough there to certainly give it some character. But that should be enough. It shouldn't be too much. The hop, that yeast should be able to shine and do its thing. So it's just going to ferment on the bench. Yeast is still sitting here ready to go. I'm just waiting for it to cool down. It should, probably be late late this evening or first thing tomorrow morning I'll pitch the yeast onto it. As I said, I've pitched a starter of the BRY97 onto the pail. With a good active starter. It had been going since Friday, and it was sort of on the tail end of what it was doing. It was still active and kicking along, so it should get into business pretty quickly. So that's it. The Kviek ale has finally happened, and I'll get another pale ale out, considering I blew another keg on Friday afternoon. So I've now got 2 empty kegs, 2 empty taps, nothing to go in them. So last brew was a failure. So yeah, if you guys watching regularly, the last brew was the Golden Ale I was doing as part of the designing and recipe series. It went south. I don't know exactly why, but it had a nasty sour twang to it. Didn't appear infected, didn't have any bugs or any pellicles or anything weird on it. It looked fine. Just didn't taste good, so I didn't even bother putting it. I didn't bother bottling it or kegging it. It's gone by the wayside. So I need this one in the keg to get a keg, another keg on. And I'll be looking to get another brew again soon, but that's not going to happen next weekend because I'm down the coast. So anyway, that's me for today. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, stick them down the bottom. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button so you get a notification when new videos come up, we're doing something new. But other than that, that's me. So I'm catching up with you again. So till next time, when we're drinking beer, we talking beer, or we brewing beer, good brewing.